welcome to One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. I am your host, Kirk DeMars, and I'm just telling you, I've had a really busy weekend. I'll cover a little bit of that here in just a moment, but wanted to have just kind of a special program tonight. Talking to you, it's just going to be me on here, but I'm just going to talk to you about something that I witnessed this weekend and just bringing the importance to me as far as we need to be watching out for these types of things. So, um, had the Redemption Inside the Walls concert this weekend. There was a bunch of people out at the fairgrounds and great crowd, great music. And so we are finally finished with that, and that is good because I'm tired. I'm tired. Glad you guys could join me tonight. I want to talk to you a little bit about texting and driving, and I want to share a story with you that was pretty impactful on me this past Saturday. Right before the concert, we had a circumstance happen where I had to run down and see how some members of our church were doing. They had been in an accident, but I'll get to that here a little bit later. I wanted to share with you that there are some statistics that tell us why we need to be careful about what we're doing when we're driving. Um, Texting and driving, there are 660,000 drivers using their cell phones while operating a vehicle at any moment in the day. 660,000. That is a crazy number. 60% of teens 18 and older admit to emailing or texting and driving, compared to 16% of 15 and 16-year-olds. So the 15 and 16-year-olds kind of understand, I got to focus on driving. It's when all of a sudden we think that we're able to do multiple things, and nothing could ever happen to me because I am so good at all these things. Texting while driving has the same effect on your driving reaction time as if you had consumed four beers in a single hour. That's a pretty harrowing statistic right there. Texting distracts you long enough to travel the length of an entire football field with your eyes off the road, driving 55 miles per hour. 35% of teens admit to texting and driving, even though 94% of them understand the dangers. See, and that's the amazing thing. They know the danger, but yet they go ahead and do it anyway. I guess that goes back to the things where you were talking about, um, don't put your finger in a light socket. Don't run across the street without looking. All those different things. Kind of the same deal going on there. 1 in 4 teens admit to responding to at least one text every time they drive. 10% of parents and 20% of teens admit to having multiple text conversations while driving. Teens who text while driving spend an average of 10% of their driving time outside of the traffic lanes. Why is that so dangerous? Because you got other cars coming in those other lanes, and there are some serious consequences that can happen when that particular circumstance happens. You get out of your lane. Between 2012 and 2019, nearly 26,004 people died in crashes involving a distracted driver. During this time, distraction-related fatalities increased by 10%. Almost all of fatalities are linked to distracted driving. Almost all. 16 to 24-year-old drivers have been observed using handheld electronic devices while driving at higher rates than older drivers have since 2007. Again, kind of going back to, I've got this driving thing down. I can do some NASCAR and I can be communicating with some people at the same time. 9% of drivers 15 to 19 years old involved in 2019 fatal crashes were reported as distracted. In 2019, there were 566 non-occupants, pedestrians, bicyclists, and others that were killed in crashes involving a distracted driver. So those are pretty blaring statistics that when we are texting and driving, we're losing our focus. I really think the one that talked about the same equal effect of having like four beers, that's how it was compared. I want to get back to a couple other things, and then I want to share that story with you when we get back. First, we're going to go ahead and have a word from our sponsors.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables.
But last week, I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Not everybody is an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday type. At CNS, we have employment options for the way you want to work with our flexible scheduling program. Flexible scheduling is designed to fit your lifestyle and allows you to be in control of your schedule. CNS offers insurance plans upon employment. Celebrating 45 years of staffing, CNS Business Services.
Say yes to CNS.
All right, the Missouri Army National Guard, we appreciate their sponsorship on this program, and they do an outstanding job of getting our youth connected into the military and getting them prepared for a different way of life, but also a very rewarding way of life. We appreciate everything that those that have served now and those that have served in the past. We appreciate everything that you have done for our country, and we honor you and thank you. CNS Business Services. They do an outstanding job of making sure that they line people up with the proper job matching up to their skills. There are so many jobs available right here in mid-Missouri, and CNS Business Services does an outstanding job getting people into those positions. All right. Well, we've talked about something a little different. Last week, we talked with Council for Drug Free Youth, getting ready to go into the Redemption Inside the Walls concert. So this week, I decided to talk about this texting and driving because there was an incident that happened this past Saturday. It was literally about 4 o'clock. The concert was starting at 5. And I saw several of the ladies that attend my church. They went running out of the gate and they were saying that the girls were in an accident. The girls, meaning that there was a van full of other girls that were heading towards the fairgrounds. And so, I began praying, and then I just started continuing to head back towards the stage, getting ready for the concert. And then I couldn't do it anymore. I had to go and make sure that they were okay. So as I got over there, I noticed that there was 2 vehicles involved. There was their van, which is like a 16-passenger van, I think, and then they had been hit by a pickup truck. I mean, right up broadside in the front end. So as I was there a little bit, got a little bit of knowledge. It was a 17-year-old girl that had run into them, and she was just absolutely beside herself. She was very upset that she had caused this, had admitted later that she had been doing something with her phone, but she felt horrible. Meanwhile, while I'm trying to comfort her, I look over, and still in the van are 2 of the ladies from church. Everybody else has been removed, but the 2 on the front seat, they are still in there, and they're in quite a bit of pain. There were children that were in the back of the van. All the airbags went off. Just everything that you could possibly see happened right there on that corner. The amazing thing is that most of them were okay right away. There were 5 of them that had to be transported to the hospital. Some of them minor injuries. One of them, they were anticipating that she had a broken collarbone. This was the driver. They were anticipating that she had a broken collarbone, possible cracked ribs, bruised sternum, and then they were thinking that they were going to have to take her up to Columbia and possibly remove her spleen. So those were all the different things that were being said. The passenger, she had 3 cracked ribs, and she was bruised in her sternum, and she was in a lot of pain as well. I want to tell you something, just talking about how amazing this young lady was that was driving. Here she was in pain, had just got hit, had the weight of everybody that was in that vehicle with her, just taking that responsibility. But in the midst of that young girl that was over by me and just was crying, in the midst of that, this lady that was in the van looked over at her, smiled and waved, and just basically letting her know that it was going to be okay. Now that is a rewarding thing to be able to see that forgiveness taking place right there. The neat thing is, I got a message yesterday that this girl that was driving and was hit so hard, was on her way home from the hospital. No broken bones, no cracked ribs, and just a slightly bruised spleen. That was incredible. That was miraculous. I'm just going to show that was miraculous. Why is it so important for us to do things the right way? Because when we don't do things the right way, that's not only a possibility of we could get hurt, but it's the possibility that others could get hurt. Again, there was plenty other women in that vehicle as well as several children. And, I know that none of us want to have that kind of weight on our shoulders. I wanted to share with you, those were national statistics that I was reading earlier. I want to let you know, we live in the show me state, so let's see what happens in the state of Missouri. Since 2014, cell phone related crashes in Missouri have increased by 31%, with nearly 2,500 crashes in 2018. Distracted driving is not just a younger driver problem. It's pretty much everybody that drives. It's something that we all need to be aware of, and something that we need to make sure that we are teaching those that we are responsible for, that we're teaching them to do things the right way. Distracted driving is not just a younger driver problem. Approximately 70% of drivers using cell phones in Missouri traffic crashes were 22 years of age or older. I have a friend of mine that works for the EMTs here in Cole County, and he talks a lot about the different things that they come upon. And again, a lot of these things could be prevented if people were paying attention to what they were doing and eliminating some of those issues that were so easily avoidable. That's about the only way I can drive that home. Texting and driving in Missouri. Currently, Missouri is one of only 2 states without a law banning texting and driving for all drivers. RSMO 304.820 states that any driver aged 21 or younger shall not operate a motor vehicle and manipulate a handheld electronic device. This means that for drivers 22 years and older, texting and driving is not an illegal offense unless the driver has a CDL or commercial driver's license. However, if a driver 21 years old or younger is found to be texting and driving, they may incur a fine of $200 and 2 points against their driver's license. That particular thing as far as the penalties, yeah, that's a big deal, but even more of a big deal is the damage that you could do to yourself and the damage that you could do to others. So that's why I wanted to just take a little bit of time with you guys tonight. This is going to be a very short program, and I wanted to just share this with you so that maybe you can talk to some others in your family or your friends. You've noticed some things that they do that are unsafe. Just remember, when you're out there driving, try to make sure that you are focused. Try to make sure that you are abiding by the law, even though there are specific laws in Missouri that have not taken place yet. It's just a common sense thing to do. So again, this is Kirk with Sports Locker Magazine, One Nation and SLM Extra. I just wanted to share this with you quickly tonight. We'll be back with a much bigger program next week, and even get to have DJ Gill joining me again. They're heading here from Colorado, and we're going to make sure that we have a great program for you next Monday night. So this is Kirk DeMars, One Nation and SLM Extra. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great evening.